All right, guys. So now we're ready to continue working on our summer flat design. And we have our surfboard completed from the previous video. And now we're going to work on the next object, which is our beach towel. So we can see over here in the layers little window, we have our surfboard in our surfboard layer. And now we want to work on our beach towel. So we have to make sure that our beach towel is selected. Bring this over. There we go. Couldn't quite see it all the way. There we go. So I have my beach towel selected because I know I have that little triangle in the top right corner. So now everything that I'm going to create will go on that beach towel layer. So the first thing that we need to do for a beach towel is a rectangle shape. So we're going to start with a rectangle. So either select your rectangle tool or use your shortcut command of M. And I'm just going to draw a rectangle on. Come up here to shape so that I can put my specific dimensions for it. This rectangle should be 150 by 230 pixel rectangle. Make sure that this is not linked because we don't want to constrain into a ratio. There we go. That's the size we want, but not the color that we want. So let's come over here to our color picker, double click, and the hexadecimal code that I want you to put in is 9076E2. You see we got this nice purple color there. So now we're going to make another rectangle so that we can have something a little bit fancier than just a purple square or purple rectangle. So I'm going to draw another rectangle and come up here to my shape so that I can specify that I want it to be the same length, so 150 pixels, but this time the width is only 18, so it's not very wide at all. But I don't want that to be the same color, so I'm going to come over here and we're going to put a pink color on there. So the pink that we want is F294B6. There we go. And I need my selection tool. So what we're going to do is I want to move this down so it's right on top of the other rectangle, and I don't want any space in between. So I'm going to zoom in so you can see. Remember, zoom in is Command plus. You can see that there is quite a bit of space. So I move it down till I see that I have those pink lines that say intersect. And so I'll know that it is perfectly on top of the purple one. The pink one is. All right, so now let me zoom back out. Command minus. And I need to make a copy of this pink one to go down here at the bottom. So there are two ways to do it if you remember. I can do Command C, then Command V, and it made me a copy there. I'm going to get rid of that. Or I can click on it, hold down Alt, and it makes, oops, I think I just made it. Nope, there we go. It makes a copy. And I'm going to place that down there and make sure that I have one on the top and on the bottom. So you're going to make a copy so you have a pink at the top and the bottom. All right, now I'm still going to add some more decoration to this. So the next thing that we're going to do is we want to have pink stripes throughout our beach towel. And you could do Command copy, Command paste, or the holding down Alt and dragging, but it makes it really hard to get them evenly spaced. So Illustrator has this cool tool that'll help do that for you. So first you need to tell the computer what you want it to duplicate. So we want it to duplicate this and this. So you notice as soon as I click on one, the other one goes away. So if you hold down Shift after you've clicked on one, then click the other, then it grabs both of them. And that's what we want. So now we're going to use Illustrator's tool of duplicating and having it evenly spaced. And that is the blend tool. So you find that over here in Object, Blend, and then we're going to go here to our blend options because we got to tell it what we want it to do. So you need to make sure, you might have come up where it says smooth color. We don't want that. We want specified steps. And then we're going to tell it we want 3. So what this does is it says I want 3 of those pink things that are going to be evenly spaced throughout there. So if I hit OK, nothing happens. Don't worry. We have to now actually tell the computer to do it. So go back up here to Object, Blend, and now Make. And there you go. All 3 of them are on there and they are perfectly evenly spaced. So we didn't even have to worry about it. All right, so the next step, keep working on this, is we're going to add another rectangle that's going to be kind of a darker purple to kind of contrast with what we already have. So I'm just going to draw the rectangle because now that we've done that whole blend make thing, if you try to copy one of those rectangles, you actually end up getting all of those. So I know if you noticed over here in my transparency, notice that that classifies that object as all of those rectangles together. So I can't just pull out one rectangle by itself right now. So I'm going to go back over here, get my rectangle tool, draw another rectangle, make sure that it is 150 by 18. It's going to be the exact same thing, but not the same color. So let's come over here to our color picker. And the dark purple code for this is, oh, got to find it. Sorry, guys. 4A288C. And there's our dark purple rectangle. So we're going to put this here. Now we want to have 3 more purple rectangles underneath the pink ones. We can't do that blend option again. It kind of messes it up. But since we know exactly where they're going to be spaced, I'm going to zoom in so I know that it's right where it needs to be. We can go ahead and just hold down Alt and drag a copy. And then do it again. Hold down Alt, drag a copy down, or do Command C, Command V. And if you notice that it's not perfectly where you want it to be as soon as you let go, instead of trying to use your mouse to get it up there, try using the arrow keys on your keyboard. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And all I got to do is press the up or down, and it'll help you give a little bit smoother movement as you're trying to get it where you want it to go. All right, so let me zoom back out. So it's looking a little bit more like a beach towel now, but we want to add a little bit more detail to it. So we're going to make some tassels that go up here on the top of the beach towel. So I got to go back over here. We're going to start with a rectangle. And it's just going to be a little rectangle. And we do want it to be that purple color, so we don't even have to worry about that. But it's going to be small, so it's going to be a 10 by 20 rectangle. And because we don't want it to be perfectly rectangular, I'm going to get my selection tool so you can see that if I just have a perfect rectangle, it looks kind of rigid, right? So I don't want it to be perfectly rigid. So we're going to round the corners on this. So let me show you how to do that because we haven't done this yet. Actually, yeah, we did it on the surfboard, sorry. So if we go up here to Shape, here's our corner. So if you remember from before, right now they're linked. So as soon as I change one, all of them will change. I don't want all of them to change. I just want the top 2 corners to change. We want to keep those bottom 2 at a perfect 180-degree angle so that we know that it will go straight across. So let's just change those top 2 corners. So make sure you have your shape highlighted, and then let's unlink it Now we want them both to go, let me double check myself to make sure I don't want the maximum. Yep, we do. So we want the maximum value on this. So what happens is if I just go with one because they're unlinked, it's going to go as high as it can, which is 10 because that's our total width. And if you look over here at what it did to it, I want both of the corners to be rounded to their maximum. So since I only have 10 pixels to work with, but there are 2 corners, the most I could do would be 10 divided by 2, which is 5. So take both of those top corners and round them up to 5. And there you go. See how now it looks a little less rigid. Obviously I need to move it down because it was not perfectly aligned. Let me zoom back out. It looks kind of like a little finger sticking up there, or an antenna, almost like a cell phone, or old style cell phone. All right, so now I want another one of these. So we're going to end up filling this whole row with tassels. So I'm going to take this, click on it to activate it, hold down Alt, and then drag my copy over. Oops, did not drag over. There we go. Really? See if it did. Nope. All right, I'm going to go back to my, if it isn't working for you, go to your direct selection tool. Oh. It's so much fun when things don't work the way they're supposed to. There we go. All right, remember Command Z if you're having issues like me and it just isn't working for you. And if you can't do, if it's not working where you hold down Alt and dragging over, you can always do Command C, Command V. That works a lot of times a lot easier. Okay, so now we want to use the blend tool, just like we did for these pink stripes, to fill in those tassels, because it's going to be hard to try to figure out exactly where they go. If you want to try and do the math, that's fine, but no need to because the computer will do it for us. So I'm going to click on the first tassel, hold down Shift because now I need to grab them both. So you can see it's selected them both. Go back up here to Object, Blend. Let's do Blend Options because we want more than 3. Let's actually do 6. So change your specified steps to 6, hit OK. Still didn't do anything, right? Because we got to go back up here, Object, Blend, and now say Make. There we go. So now we have them all there. Go ahead and select it because we want to make sure that any changes we do to this, the computer will do it individually to each one, because right now it's kind of one whole thing. And so we have to go up to Object, Expand, and we want it to expand the object and the fill. So both of those are checked, and you just hit OK. And notice that now we have, if I zoom in, look, each one can be an individual little part. There we go. Now, if I have my direct selection tool, you can see each one's individual. So go back to your regular selection tool because we want to make a copy of this. So this time, because I don't want to have to worry about messing up with holding Alt, I am going to do Command C, then Command V. And should have a copy. There it is. So if I go to move this all the way down here, notice that these flat edges, which I need to be over here, they're upside down now. Well, there's a way to fix that. So what you need to do is do a right click on the object, and you get all these options that pop up. Go to Transform, Reflect. We want it to reflect horizontally. So if we did a vertical flip or reflection, it would just flip it over. And that wouldn't really change it. It would be flipping it from left to right. We want it to flip from top to bottom. So that's a horizontal flip. Hit OK, and there we go. So now we can move this back into place so it's perfectly aligned. Let me zoom out so you can see what we have now. Looks a little bit more like a beach towel, doesn't it? Okay, so believe it or not, we are almost done. Last thing that we want to do is put that shadow effect, just like what we had on the surfboard. So if you remember, we take a rectangle. We want it to be right in the center. Draw it over that right side. The dark purple is fine. That's what we're going to use. Now we come over here to our transparency model window. Sorry. If you close this earlier, remember you just go up to Window and then Transparency. Make sure it's checked. So we are going to change it from Normal to Multiply, and we want to change the opacity to 30%. You can see that it did just that. All right, so go back to your selection tool. The last thing we have to do is get rid of all the extra parts. So remember, we draw a circle, excuse me. Have not had enough coffee yet this morning, guys. All right, draw my rectangle over it. Then we'll do Shift M. And then there's our plus sign. We want it to be minus, so we hold down Alt, click away, and boom, we're done. So we have all of our towel is now in shadow. Looks really nice. The only thing we have left to do is we want to group this so that if we go to try to move our towel, we're not just moving little parts of it. So remember, you're going to have to draw a rectangle around the whole thing and then do Command G to group. So now I can move the whole thing. And there we go. There is our beach towel. It's right there in our layers window that we can see. So now we have 2 objects done, and we still have our swim shorts to do, and then our umbrella and suitcase, and then we'll finish up with our details and the background. So now I am going to go ahead. I want to work on the swim shorts next. So one thing I have to make sure of is that I'm in the swim shorts layer. So I have that checked. But I'm going to go ahead and hide my beach towel and surfboard just so that they don't get in the way. Sometimes they can get in the way. So let's get started with our swim shorts now. Things should be getting a little bit faster and easier for us as we go along because I don't have to explain all this stuff to you again. So let's start with our rectangle. I'm going to do my shortcut command of M. Okay, get started with a rectangle. Let's go up here to shape so we can put our dimensions in. I want a 95 by 15 rectangle. I do want that dark purple, so we should have our color code of 4A288C.